I'm so sorry. You busted me in the middle of a good laugh. Usually I don't look at the message that Snarky Weather has set for us on a daily basis until it's time to tell the weather. But today I happened to turn around to my other monitor just as the broadcast was starting, and I'm going to have to tell you what it was because it made me laugh. Today's Snarky Weather message is: don't tell anyone, but I regularly send bad weather to areas with high concentrations of anti vaxxers. And I thought that was funny. And that's why I was laughing when you came into the room. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. It's a pleasure to greet you this morning. Today is Tuesday, August 2nd, and we have a dinner date tonight at Whiskey Kitchen. I'm really excited. And I'm really amused by the news today. There's all kinds of really funny news. And I'm glad that Tommy is in the house because one of our news items today, my dear friend, has to do with you, believe it or not. Well, nothing you did, but we talked about this news item just a few days ago, and I was so interested, happy to have seen a news item that relates to our conversation. Anyhow, I'm making no sense because we need to get on with the news. But before we do that, welcome. It's great to see you. And if you are new, if you've never been with us live and you want to let us know that you are here, please write the word new. We won't bite. All we will do is wish you a nice little warm welcome. And if you have something really important that you wish to share with us, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment. And we get to look through those in the second half of the broadcast. What else can I tell you? I can tell you, oh, interesting. John says, I found the discussion about Valle de Guadalupe and Mexico wine so interesting. John, we just scratched the surface. And I thought to myself after the broadcast, you cannot get into the history of wine in Mexico by making a 3-minute statement. I mean, it is really fascinating how the whole wine industry in Mexico, the fate of the wine industry in Mexico was changed completely by a crazy decision made in the 1500s. And of course, now that wine is surging in popularity here in Mexico, it's a different story altogether. But maybe we will get into that story with more detail sometime in the near future. I'm going to resist the temptation to keep looking at your comments, and I'm going to wait until after the news as usual. So let me push the happy button, the headline button. Bam. If you, like me, were left wondering what were all those sirens about yesterday afternoon, I finished the broadcast and all of a sudden I turned around to the window and there were like all these sirens going by, and I figured, what the fuck? I mean, who died? Who got killed? What's happening? Well, it turns out that Our mayor, Puerto Vallarta Mayor Luis Alberto Michel, delivered 30 brand new police patrol vehicles and 30 brand new motorcycles to address the needs of our city. These are part of the new vehicles that were announced by President Lopez Obrador as part during his recent visit. So all the noise you heard yesterday afternoon came from these new vehicles: 30 new patrols and 30 new motorcycles. 30 new patrols. Well, actually 29. Take a look. Oh, stop already. That's right. Somewhere along Cinco de Diciembre, somebody, despite all the racket, decided to forge ahead at an intersection, and it was not even going that fast. I mean, if you look at the video, and you can look at it as many times as you want because I'm going to share it in the show notes. I mean, I can appreciate the fact that when business is as usual, we follow this nice little trendy rule in which one car goes this way and then one car goes this way. But seriously, so that was 29 new police patrols were delivered yesterday in Puerto Vallarta. Of course, Mayor Michel did not miss an opportunity or a beat in stating that the acquisition of 60 new security vehicles at a little over 22 million pesos turned out to be less expensive than the 38 million pesos spent by former Mayor Ramon Guerrero for 50 units, not 60, 50, 2 administrations ago. So it goes to show how hopefully the latest or our present administration is being more mindful of our expenditure, even if there are some challenged drivers out there that are willing to wreck the fun as soon as the fun comes out rolling down the street. But I digress. 100 additional new patrol vehicles will be arriving in the future. I hope that doesn't turn into 99 on the first day. Now, we have talked about the Federación Bridge a couple of times recently, and now Nayarit Governor Miguel Ángel Navarro Quintero has once again stated that he has the Federación Bridge conundrum all figured out. Nayarit Governor says, we could finance the whole bridge using money from the private sector, but there's a caveat. The bridge would require users to pay a toll every time they wish to cross it. Now, I don't know if this is actually a good idea or not, or if this is the Nayarit government's way of putting additional pressure on the federal government to fork out the money required to build the darn thing. I mean, culturally speaking, locally, people are just not used to this business of having to pay toll roads here, there, and everywhere. I mean, if people have been reluctant to pay 500 pesos a year to pay for their vehicle inspection, who is going to want to use a brand new bridge when you have to pay for the privilege? So again, we'll keep following this story and we'll see what happens with it in days or weeks or months or years to come. You never know. You know this already, I'm sure you do. Hotels and condo units used for short-term tourist stays collect a 3% tax from vacationers that is earmarked for local tourism promotion. Well, Tourism Bureau Director Luis Villaseñor has announced that in the first half of this year, in just 6 months, Puerto Vallarta has already collected 131 million pesos in hospitality tax. And this is quite remarkable because only 6 months have gone by in the current year. And when you consider the fact that in pre-pandemic 2019, the amount collected for the entire year was 145 million pesos, we are way ahead of the game. And this is what we were talking about the other day, saying that Puerto Vallarta is no longer in post-pandemic recovery, but we are actually in a growth period. The actual goal of the Tourism Bureau is to end 2022, the current year, having collected 175 million pesos, and we're already at 75% of that goal. So, what is this money used for? Well, again, it goes for tourism promotion for our destination, but 30% of the total is actually destined to for infrastructure improvements. I cannot speak English this morning. I didn't have enough coffee. Infrastructure improvements. What am I talking about? Well, for example, the Conchas Chinas to Mismaloya Highway gets financed from this tax. The previously announced northbound lateral along Francisco Medina Asensio also will be financed using this hospitality tax. Moving right along, oh dear, well, the Federal Commission for Protection Against Sanitary Risks, or COFEPRIS, has once again whipped out their periodic report of caca molecules at local beaches, where there is supposed to be less than 200 of these caca molecules for every 100 millimeters of water for the beach to be considered fit for swimming. And 2 local beaches are getting quite close to that sanitary limit, according to COFEPRIS. We are talking about the beach in Yelapa and the beach in Quimixto, both in Cabo Corrientes, with 172 and 181 Enterococcus faecalis, or caca molecules each. Just you wait for local researchers to come forth in 2 days tops. We can place bets if you want to contradict these findings. It happens all the time. And of course, if you wish to know which are the beaches that are best suited for swimming, local beaches or beaches with least amount of caca molecules, we'll tell you right after the weather break. 130, no, not yet. Not yet. First, let us get into the weather. I was getting all excited about continuing to read my notes. I already told you what snarky weather is thinking about this morning. Anti-vaxxers. Well, it is what it is. Anyhow, we're enjoying 27 degrees right now. Humidity is at 86% rather. Our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 81. And our weather forecast for today says, boom, boom, rain and humid throughout the day with a high of 31 and a low of 25. Tomorrow, Wednesday, rain in the evening with a high of 32 and a low of 25. And Thursday, possible light rain in the evening and overnight with a high of 31 and a low of 25. Caca molecules, says Karen Smith. I love it. Well, it is what they are. Anyhow, moving right along, and I'm getting too comfortable in my chair. That's too funny. Anyhow, as I told you before, the least contaminated local beaches, so that we don't say that COFEPRIS is only bearing bad news. The local beaches with the least amount of caca molecules are Camarones Beach, Los Muertos Beach, and Gemelas Beach in the South Shore. So these are the 3 beaches where you're likely to become the least acquainted with the aforementioned caca molecules. And when I mentioned my friend Tommy earlier, this is the bit of news that I was talking about. We were just talking, a bunch of friends and I, about not having visited Mazatlan in quite some time. And I mentioned during the conversation that I was actually waiting for the opening of the city's brand new aquarium, but I couldn't quite remember when this was supposed to take place. We talked about the aquarium last year or maybe the year before, and the good news is that I stumbled upon this article, which reminds us that the project will be completed this coming winter season. So by the end of this year, hopefully, or maybe the beginning of next, we'll have a brand new excuse to visit Mazatlan. The project, according to this article, is presently at 88% of its completion. And when it opens, it will feature 19 different exhibition halls and 4 internal gardens where visitors will be able to take in all the richness of that region's local flora and fauna. And of course, we'll keep you posted as to when this new aquarium will open. I think it'll be a great excuse to visit Mazatlan. I would not want to go prior to that. Our useless headline of the day has to do with a 20 peso banknote, which is going away. I looked at the headline and I thought, oh, this is interesting. We might as well talk about it. But then when I read it, I realized, well, it's not going to go away until 2025. So why are they publishing the note right now is a mystery to me. Anyhow, the brand new independence commemorative bill is going to go away in 2021 and replaced by a coin with the same denomination. Woohoo. And before we move on to a couple of other announcements, do you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to go back to sleep thinking of things in your life that you could have done differently? Do you find yourself not taking good care of yourself? Then this article from Vox is something that you may want to read. It certainly fit my bill, and I'm glad that I perused it earlier. I'm going to read it in a little while, and there is even a link to a self-paced self-compassion course, which you can take online. I think we all could use some TLC, especially when it's self-administered. And speaking of TLC, we are going to have dinner tonight at Whiskey Kitchen. As a reminder, this is happening because Whiskey Kitchen was broken into, and we want to be there just to be part of the influx of pesitos so that Gina can recover, and of course to provide good vibes and support. You may be wondering why we do this. And we do this for a couple of reasons. Number one, we do this because we can, and because it seems to be a long-standing local tradition, and I think it happens everywhere else. I remember it was during my second year living here at Puerto Vallarta that my apartment was broken into and my computer was stolen. I was living at Loma del Mar, and my landlady, along with a bunch of people that I did not even know, went ahead and organized a little cocktail party, and I was invited. And when I got there, I got the surprise of an envelope. And this cultural habit was new to me at the time, but it was a very important lesson that I learned, and I have tried to follow it moving forward whenever I've been able to do that. And that is, we pay forward. We pay forward with kindness. We pay forward with funding whenever we can. I myself was blessed enough of this tradition recently when you guys helped me by helping me raise money to get a new computer. So tonight, if you don't have any dinner plans and you want to come join us at Whiskey Kitchen Versalles, we'll be there starting at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, right? Is that what it says? Or does it say 7? I can't remember. 6 o'clock. Yes, 6 o'clock today. And with that said, let's take a quick look at your comments, your caca comments. I saw a bunch of caca comments. I love it. Let's see. Lots of good mornings as usual, and we love Oh, I forgot to tell you, I went to a fabulous new restaurant in Fluvial yesterday. Well, new to me, and I will prepare that tomorrow. I didn't get to it today because there was a lot of caca stuff to go through. But tomorrow I'll be telling you about a wonderful afternoon that I spent with sweet friends and a restaurant that was new to me that we should all check out in Fluvial. But now let's see. I see lots of good mornings, and that is always sweet and totally awesome. Tommy, let's go to Mazatlan. Hello, Jesse. I've missed you too. It's always great to see you. Your smiling face is always nice. Let's see what else we have. Luke is chiming in from El Jorullo, which means that you've recovered your Wi-Fi. I'm glad to hear. Let's see what else. Chunka, 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 chunka. I have driven through Valle de Guadalupe so many times heading to Southern Baja, but have never stopped there, says Jim Dolan. Many of my friends have spent vacation time there recently and have reported that they absolutely love their time there. I often search out wines from this region on wine lists here in Mexico with great results. That makes two of us. I love it. Let's see. How do you possibly miss that many police vehicles with sirens blazing? Well, that I still can't figure it out. I still cannot figure it out. Uh, if the drivers of those new and older patrol trucks would actually take care of them like their own, they would last longer and do proper maintenance. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Jim Dolan, who graces us with all these blanket statements every now and then, and we love you for that, Jim. Well, not really. Maintenance in Mexico seems to be when your wheel falls off, you bolt it back on. Now, what would make you have such a negative impression of my country, Jim? Do let us know because I'm beginning to wonder where your mindset is at. Maybe you need to take that Vox course on self esteem or something. I don't know. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Let's see. Finally, a scientific term that I can understand: caca molecules. I tell you, and look, I know that we've talked about this. You know, we like swimming on the Rio Quale, but then when we find out that even up the mountains, people are dumping their caca molecules directly on the river, one has to wonder. One has to wonder. All the world needs is love. Well, Jim, stop picking at my country if you really mean your words. Let's see what else we have. Anyone has any tips on how to get over the pandemic induced fear of flying? I'm just terrified of ending up on a plane full of visibly sick people. How do you guys deal? I really want to go back to Vallarta, but I feel stuck. Well, Maggie, I don't know that I have a specific solution for you. Um, but I will tell you that the thought of COVID, having had it, the thought of COVID looms on the back of my mind um, every time I hop on a bus, every time I go into a theater, every time I go to the movies. But then again, somehow that thought, the thought of getting sick to my stomach when I go to a restaurant, does not loom on the back of my head. So I suppose it has to do with um, with your mindset. And my wish for you is that you find a place in which you don't feel terrified. I remember I used to feel terrified about going to Guadalajara on the bus, and by the time I went, I was so excited that I just stopped thinking about it. So hopefully you will get to that place. um Tommy, let's make a plan for Mazatlan this winter or maybe next spring. It should be a lot of fun. We could have our high heel course follow up at the aquarium. No, maybe they would not be ready for that. Never mind. Let's see. Harold has an interesting point. Drivers of government vehicles don't report maintenance problems because they don't want to be blamed for the problem. Well, I couldn't agree or disagree because I've never been a driver of a government vehicle. And so I have no expertise. I don't have the expertise that you seem to have. And with that said, let us get done with this morning's broadcast. It's a pleasure, as always, to spend time with you, and I appreciate your comments, whether I agree with them or not. That's part of the dynamic, and I think that's what makes for a healthy environment around here. Um, if I don't see you tonight, hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow. And if I don't see you again tomorrow, I hopefully will see you sometime in the near future. Have an awesome Tuesday.